Here we go, guys. Week 3. This week, we're going to look at assessment versus evaluation. These words are closely related, but there are differences. In education, when we talk about assessment, we're talking about assessing the students while they are learning. Assessments can be subjective, such as a self-assessment that you ask the students to do, or it can be objective, such as a pretest. We as teachers want to know what students understand and don't understand so that guides our instruction. I'm not going to waste instructional time if students already understand something. When we speak of evaluation, we're talking about how well students have mastered the content and the effectiveness of the teaching strategies that were used. So, if they mastered the content, then we as a teacher did a great job teaching it. If they didn't master it, what did we do wrong? You need to always reflect back to you because you're the teacher. What did you do wrong? How could you do it differently? Well, we are going to specifically be working with the observation survey tasks this week. If you haven't already read Chapter 1 from an observation survey of early literacy achievement by Marie Clay, you're going to need to do that to start with. Then, after you've read that, look at page 37. There are the tasks. We're going to be working with the observation task for concepts about print, observation task for letter identification, observation task for word reading, the observation task for writing vocabulary, and the observation task for hearing and recording sounds in words. In week 4, we're going to be looking at taking records of reading continuous text or running records. That's week 4, don't worry about it. At the bottom of page 37, Clay points out that no single task provides a satisfactory assessment of progress in early literacy. So if you're going to do the observation survey, you need to do all of the tasks. You can't just do one and have accurate data. Before you attempt to administer any of the observation tasks, you need to carefully watch administering the observation survey. And there's a typo right there. Oh my. You're going to want to watch that media clip. There is a PowerPoint for each task, which includes the administration instructions, the materials that are needed, information that is gained from each task, and scoring information. Now, Clay is very clear that you need to follow the script when you give these tasks. If you don't follow the script, then you're not keeping the integrity of the assessment. And later on in our text, excuse me, back in the appendix, there are norms for the observation survey tasks. And this is why you have to follow the script so that you can look at these norms with valid data. Our norms begin on page 202 of our text. Before administering the tasks, I want you to rehearse the administration first. Practice as if you are giving it to a student. This may seem silly, but believe me, some tasks are not as easy to give as you think. All of your materials need to be ready, and you need to know the specific language to use and not use. Play lists specific prompts that may be used if needed. These are found within the task in our textbook, An Observation Survey of Early Literacy Achievement. For example, before administering concepts about print, you need to become familiar with the little booklet that you're going to use. Now, there are 4 booklets: Follow Me Moon, No Shoes, Sand, or Stones. It doesn't matter which one of those texts that you use. In our book, there are specific directions for the teacher when giving that on pages 44 and 45. I mean, it tells you what to say and how to score it. But you need to practice because it's really awkward sometimes when you're giving this. When you're giving the letter identification task, the student only needs to give you the letter name. For example, you're going to prompt, do you know its name? If the child is unable to give you the letter name, then you're going to prompt, what sound does it make? If no response is given, then you're going to give this last prompt, do you know a word that starts like that? If no response is given, move on to the next letter. The child only needs to give you the letter name or the sound or a word that begins with that letter to score correctly. They don't have to give you all 3. The same is true for the word reading task. The child only reads one list of words. The directions for administering this task are very clear in our text. The writing vocabulary task is very clear and straightforward with when to prompt and what prompts can be used. Pages 21 and 22 in our text provide the rationale for the blank piece of paper for this task and also hearing and recording sounds in words task. Only one of the 5 forms that you're given in hearing and recording sounds in words is what you will give. You're not going to give all 5, you give 1. So later on, if you want to check progress, you can use a different form of hearing and recording sounds in words because they all are checking for the same thing. So it doesn't matter which form you use, but you're only using one. All right, if we look at Moodle, and let's just click on one of these, writing vocabulary. Okay, here's our PowerPoint. Whoa. It tells you what the PowerPoint is, the materials that are needed, what do you learn from it, how long does it take, and here are administration directions. If you have questions, please ask. Bear with me a moment. You're going to be using the data that you get from these assessments in your tutor sessions. These tasks, the data, and what you do with the data, that is a lot of your final project. So please remember that when you are tutoring, you are basing your lesson on data from the assessments that we've given. If you have any questions, please ask me. One more thing. I'm going to say that not all videos found on YouTube are good examples of things that should be done. Next week, as we look at running records, there's lots of videos that are out there about running records. But if you want to get a jump start, go to YouTube and Rhonda Hayes, Hayes. Her videos are incredible. She follows the scripts. That lady knows what she's doing. So if you want more practice with running records, watch her videos.